Hey everybody, I'm back again with another video to show you something that I just kind of had to learn as I went in the beginning when I first started to prepare home cooked meals for my dog, and that is how to safely and thoroughly remove any bones from cooked chicken that you have prepared for your dog. And so what I have here, this is my inner pot from my Instant Pot. I had cooked some leg quarters for my dog Macy last night, and then I just covered it and had it in the fridge. So now I'm actually going to show you how I remove the meat from the bone and then make sure there are no little sneaky bones left in the meat before I feed it to her. It's really important. I know you may have heard that raw bones, and it is true, raw bones are fine for dogs if they're, eating and used to a raw diet, but cooked bones are really dangerous for dogs because they splinter, they're drier, and it's just bad news. So you don't want to have any risk of those sneaking into the food. So like I said, so these are some leg quarters that I put in my Instant Pot last night. A crock pot works really well for this, and you can obviously also cook your chicken at stovetop. But if you want that fall off the bone, that tenderness, the meat just kind of comes right off the bone, which makes obviously easier for you when you're kind of getting the food ready for your dog. A crock pot or an Instant Pot is great. Instant Pot obviously is a lot faster. I've been doing crock pot for years. I've just had an Instant Pot probably the last 2 years now. But anyway, I threw the chicken in. Again, these are leg quarters. I had a little bit of water, a little oregano, and I believe I did rosemary, just a pinch. And that's really it. And I set it I just used the chicken setting and then up the time maybe to about 30 minutes. And then I just let it sit on warm after it's done to make sure it's nice and tender. And like I said, the meat falls off the bone. So this is how it looks after it's sat in the fridge. And I add the water because it does give you all that nice juicy drippings, so to speak, that I also like to add to the food. So I'm going to first show you, this is just one whole leg quarter. And a leg quarter is essentially, it's just the drumstick and then the thigh that are just still attached. So what you first want to do is just pull off the drumstick. And for a lot of people, the drumstick is actually the trickier of all the chicken parts to remove the bones from. Not hard, but it's just there's a couple things you want to be aware of. I don't usually give Macy a lot of the skin, so that's what you see me just kind of pulling off here. You can totally give this to your dog. You can set it aside and use it to put in treats or something like that, but it's just a lot of fat and a lot of, I try to keep her diet as clean as possible. So I'm just going to toss the skin. But here's the drumstick. All you're going to do now is just pull off the meat. And actually, I'm going to set the thigh aside so you can kind of see. So the good meat, I have a bowl ready to go. It's just going to kind of drop in there. And you can just pull it off in chunks. So for the drumstick, there's really two main bones. Obviously, the main drumstick, got that. So you're going to toss that. But the other thing, and this is the one that's kind of sneaky, because on one side of the drumstick, there's a big chunk of meat, but kind of embedded in there is this long, I'm gonna see if I can show you. See that? And it's perfectly camouflaged, so it's easy it's easy to miss if you're just grabbing a huge chunk of the chicken and just drop it in. So this is what I wanted y'all to see. So this is the one you're really gonna wanna watch out for. And again, this is for the drumstick. So to me, I think it looks like a little mini walking cane or a walking stick, but that's what you want. So as you're kind of removing the meat from the drumstick, always make sure that it's nice and long like this. If you ever see a short piece, then this little half of it obviously broke off at some point in the cooking process or when you were trying to pull the meat. So just make sure you find it, because this is nice and kind of sharp. Okay, so that's the main thing. So for the drumstick, you have this main bone, and then you've got the little pointy, what I call the cane or the walking stick bone. Okay, so those are the two that you want to look out for. In addition to that, because these are bones and joints, the joints are connected with these little caps of cartilage, and they usually stay pretty intact. Sometimes they cook down so much that they're just mush, And if that happens, that's fine. But clearly this, I don't know if you can tell, that's a good size, and it's pretty rough. I mean, it's pretty tough. So you don't want them to eat this as well. So I don't know if you can see, I'm trying to pull off as much of the meat, but this is the cap of the cartilage. Okay. And then there may be, let me make sure there's another one. So then that's the other thing. Once I always have this bowl set aside where the good meat is, or the pieces I'm keeping, and just kind of run your fingers through it and make sure there's nothing in there that's hard or crunchy or sharp. Okay. So this is from the drumstick. And as you can see, you've got the cartilage cap, is the main drumstick bone, and then the long pointy one that I already showed you. Okay, so now, again, this was a leg quarter, so that was the drumstick piece. And then the other piece is the thigh, which is the largest part. And again, I removed the skin, but you can do whatever you want to do for your dog. It's just real kind of fatty. Yeah, I just kind of pull that off. Anything excess fat, little yucky bits. I mean, it's not yucky, but it's just fatty. But a thigh, so this is what this is, the other piece of the leg quarter. It's just the thigh. And the thigh is easy because there's really just one main bone right here. And again, you're just looking for those little cartilage caps if there is any. So this is what I'm going to show you this. This is what your thigh bone is going to look like. It's shorter. Yeah, it's shorter than the leg bone. Yeah. So you're going to bring that aside. Little piece of cartilage. I'm going to pull that off to the side. And I'm going to do my little quick check. Just kind of feel through. You don't want to just eyeball it. You want to feel it. Make sure there's nothing that you miss. No little hard, crunchy bits. And then I'm going through again. So because it's a leg quarter, I guess this is the part that kind of got chopped off at the thigh. So there's a ridge of bones at the top. So essentially you're just going to, whatever's left, you're just running your fingers through, pulling off any of the soft meat pieces, any bony cartilage bits like this, you just pull them off. Nice big piece of chicken, just drop it in. So you're just kind of, it's all by feel, for the most part by feel. And that's it. And then this piece here is probably mostly bone. I don't mess with it too much. I don't really try to get every little speck of chicken because I don't want to mess with little small fragments of bone popping off. And that's kind of I guess the top of the hip or whatever. But anyway, if it's bony, if it's sharp, if it's not mush in your hands, you don't want it to go into your dog's bowl. So this was all the meat I got from one decent sized leg quarter. And yeah, that looks good. And then I have another piece in here. This is just, I see there's a cartilage. Some of it just pops right off. Anything, like I said, if it's hard, just grab it and move it aside. And then this is a drumstick. So again, I'm looking for that long, pointy bit, that pointy bone. And I'm just gonna get all the little smaller bits around it. You do this enough, you get really pretty quick at it and pretty good about it. And like I can feel that little sharp bone right there. See how I pulled? I'm gonna pull that little bit off. See it down if you can see that. I just like to kind of get it all off. That's good chicken. And that's really it. The rest of this I'm probably gonna just leave on the bone, but just so you can see. I like to make sure, like I said, you want to make sure you got the whole length of this bone because it's so long and sharp and pointy, and you don't want this to get stuck in your dog's throat or any part of their body. So there's the one that I'm always looking for when in terms of dealing with drumsticks. You see that? All right, so here's my pile of discards, all the bits that were either cartilage, and then obviously that's the main drumstick bone. And then that's kind of the cartilage cap that's got little bits of chicken. So it depends on how meticulous you want to be. I really mainly go for the big chunks and then don't really mess with the rest. And then I'm back into my pot because this was slow cooked well, not really slow cooked, but it was cooked in an Instant Pot. A lot of the meat kind of falls off into the pot as you're cooking. So I always go back to get those. And then I have all the nice juices left in the pot also. So even though it looks like, oh, this is just all the drippings and whatnot from the cooking process, Once you get all your chicken out, you're gonna wanna go back through the pot where all the yummy juices are, which is what I'm doing now. I'm kind of grabbing chunks of skin. That's mostly like skin. Yuck, I'm not giving her that. And then the bone, I'm just tossing them in my trash can. Yeah, have your trash can close by for this process. You want a nice, good, whatever bowl or container you're planning to put the usable chicken in. You want your trash can right next to you, so any bits you want to toss, or somewhere to just put the bones, whatever. I'm putting the bones here so you guys can see, but normally I'm not saving these for anything. So I'm just tossing them straight in the trash. That's a good chunk of chicken. So yeah, here we go. Here's another cartilage cap. I mean, that's just what I'm calling it. Just a chunk of cartilage from the end pieces of the bone. This is mostly skin. So that's trash for me. And again, more skin. So, not sure if you can see. This is the part I love. I always say this, I do save this bit. These are all the drippings and juices from the cooking process. And I actually am gonna, that's another thing. So if you are trying to save any juices from the chicken, from where it cooked, like I have here, you're gonna want a nice bowl or container to put that in. I'm gonna slide this over. So that's what this glass bowl is. I had set my chicken in earlier. And then you're just gonna scoop it out. And this, I just like to add it in just with other meals that I'm making. It's just a nice, kind of like a little gravy, a nice topping. Especially if you're trying to mix in supplements, you should always be supplementing your dog's diet, especially if this is you're solely doing home prepared food. You want to make sure that you're adding in lots of added vitamins and things and supplements to kind of round out their diet. So, but this is a nice thing to kind of mask, and if any of the vitamins have a funky taste, this will kind of mask it and make the food still very enticing for your dog, so they'll eat it. So again, I hope that was helpful. So this is my good chicken. This is the drippings from the cooking process. And then these are all, for the most part, most of the discarded bones and pieces. So I hope this was helpful. Feel free to come back, check out another video, and I'll see y'all next time.